And it's the same song and dance that we've been talking about for years. Oh yeah, what are we talking about? Well, the same song and dance of food. Food distribution, food shortages, food price hikes, double-digit food inflation. When? Well, way before all this is happening. But we got some major breaking news that's happening that's gonna put a nail in the coffin. If you thought food was expensive before, watch out. Emergency alert coming on our friends here at Natural News. Mike Adams is reporting this. Always great reporting from him. Emergency alert on the heels of rail carriers canceling grain shipments. CF Industries warns that fertilizer rail shipments are now being halted during spring planting. This is super major. I don't know if I have to sing it to you or tell you in Spanish or Portuguese, or I don't know how to tell this to make people understand how major this is. As you may recall, 10 days ago, you were warned. There's the article right there where basically planned starvation grain deliveries by rail to be partially halted, devastating dairy herds and meat operations nationwide. So this is in the plans. This has been working out for this. They've been working on this for a while now. I also warned that this was an engineered collapse of the food supply, where rail carriers were essentially being ordered to drop certain loads in order to maximize the coming wave of food scarcity and famine. Now, devastating news from the CF Industries. Here it is right there. Whoops, there it is right there. CF Industries, Union Pacific curtails fertilizer shipments, delaying deliveries and preventing new rail orders from being taken. Oh my God, this is actually a really big deal, guys, and I'm actually concerned. I'm really concerned. One of the largest fertilizer producers in the world confirms the engineered food collapse is a plan that's being expanded to include fertilizer shipments. Now, devastating news from, we did that. Okay, sorry, I'm reading from a phone. According to April 14th announcement, CF Industries Union Pacific is halting the delivery of fertilizer shipments right in the middle of the peak of planting season for farmers. CF Industry warns that railroad mandate shipping reductions will result in nitrogen fertilizer shipment delays during the spring application season, and it will be unable to accept new rail sales involving Union Pacific for the foreseeable future. Even more alarming, CF Industry warns that it is one of only 30 companies to face these restrictions. So it goes into here, and spring collapse will fail across North America if they don't get nitrogen. We know this. And a perfect storm of black swan events spell food doom and gloom at a global scale. Wow, that's actually really well written. I like that. A perfect storm. I remember saying a perfect storm many times. I took that from the movie on trends in the housing market. COVID chapter collapse. It goes into that, and it goes into more. Check it out. The full article here on Natural News. Now, there it is. There it is. Now let's go to the channel time machine. Type in food across our channel, and this is what you'll find. More food shortages ahead. Make sure you're prepped. 2 months ago, food prices to increase 67% in 2022. 4 months ago. Connecting the dots. Canadian middle class disappearing. Oops, I'm sorry. That's just a playlist that I have on my channel. Chinese government urges families to stock up on food. 5 months ago. 113 fast food closures, and we're just getting started. Tons of fast food shortages, closures a year ago. Federalization of big box stores and all transports of food. Food getting expensive due to hidden inflation. $79. How much food did I get a year ago? Food to skyrocket in 2021, 830%. Middle class can't afford basic food. Food shortages ahead 5 years ago. Food prices up another 4%. If oil goes up, we're screwed. $185 worth of food 3 years ago. Middle class can't afford food. Food bank notices increase of working poor. Transportation issues. So we're already seeing. Watch this one. North Korea asks starving citizens to eat less as food shortage expected and continues. Some Americans have begun stealing food to survive a year ago. Canadians say it's getting harder to feed their families to afford food. Inflation in food prices hidden 3 years ago. So it just keeps going on. Food is costing more than my rent. You know this classic video I made 5 years ago. That's why I left the city. The cost of food was just out of... Price of oil dropped. This is when oil went down to about $20 a barrel. but food prices go up. They were blaming the increase on the price of food because the price of oil was going up to about $120 a barrel 7 years ago, if you guys remember. Oil drops to $20 a barrel, and food keeps going up. They can't hide the inflation, people. So what's going on around this? I mean, we could go over food. Look, Mike of the Night food shortage a year ago. We could keep going on this, like on this channel. We have so many videos that we made warning people. Shanghai's COVID siege, food shortages, talking robots and starving animals. The Washington Post is reporting this. There's your talking animals or your walking, talking animals. Get in your house. No more protests. For weeks, China's most populous city, Shanghai, has been under strict lockdown orders in an effort to control... I'm not going to go into that because that's bullshit. Let's keep going. The looming catastrophe of the global food shortage. And the Russian invasion, they're always going to blame Russia, and they're blaming inflation on Russia, they're blaming everything. More Canadians turning to coupons as food prices rise. Ukraine war threatens to cause global food crisis. War has brought the world to the brink of a food crisis. So they're going to blame war on everything. They're going to have to blame the war on this. That's why they need to keep it going. Most Canadians are cutting back on their food spending as inflation soars. Putin tells Western countries their sanctions will lead to food shortages in the poorest regions of the world and cause migration to spike, report says. So this is a domino effect. You starve out the third world, they migrate to the first world. And guys, don't forget to join us tonight on Mike in the Night. There it is right there, the link to tonight's show. Mike in the Night, episode 435, Surveillance Ramping. We're going to retouch surveillance. We're going to retouch this lockdown they have in Shanghai with surveillance and what they're doing to keep tabs on people. We want to revisit our surveillance show. I posted the surveillance show from 3 years ago here from Mike in the Night. So it's an old one, but we're going to revisit it now 3 years later to find out where we're at, how it's headed, where it's going. Don't forget to join us, and we'll have call-ins on the topic if you guys want. And don't forget to check out last week's Mike in the Night. We did a... Where was it last? Sorry. Last Saturday's Mike in the Night was right here, Weather Warfare. Really good show where we retouched and discussed weather warfare and weather modifications and where it's going. And then Agenda 2030 was a week before that because Agenda 2030 website was updated a few weeks ago, so we decided to do a deep dive into Agenda 2030. It's happening! There's no better way I could do this but sing it or tell you this in Spanish or Portuguese. I don't know how to get this, it's something that I've been warning about, that the price of food going up is bad government spending, printing money up the wazoo, declining the value of our savings accounts and what we saved and what we have, assets on paper going up through the roof, homeowners wealthy overnight, money laundering, when you have billions of dollars that are unaccounted for, coming into an economy, just destroys the middle class. And they've been hiding inflation on food for years now. They're always finding reasons. Back 7-8 years ago when oil dropped to 23 bucks a barrel, what happened? The price of food kept going up still. Because there's no cover of inflation, of the cover of inflation. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Look super forward to seeing you guys tonight on Mike in the Night. I have spoken.